Well, howdy folks, Argsy here. We've just come out of a meeting with the bank manager, and I'll tell you what, this weather matches my mood right now. I am not very happy. We can't borrow any more money for the bins, or at least we can't get any more money against the farm. I didn't realise, no one had told me, uncle, aunt didn't think to tell me that there was a $750,000 loan against the farm already, and that they've been struggling to make payments. I mean, I'm not surprised they've been struggling to make repayments on it, considering the way they were farming, but they didn't think to tell me. So, well, you know, can't begrudge the bank that they're not going to lend us any more money. That's just how banks work. So we're going to have to come up with a different solution there. I might look, I don't know, maybe we'll see if there's someone around we can lease some space off. Maybe we can find out if we can get an ag bag or something like that. I mean, I've got money. We've got money from that we brought up with us, or down with us from Chilliwack. Do we invest in the farm? I don't know if that's something we really want to do at this stage, particularly considering they haven't been honest with us, but we're going to have to give that a little bit of thought now about what we're going to do with the crops for next year, because, you know, I thought we had a pretty good business case for it. So anyhow, let's get on back down to the farm. Hopefully, forecast was for just some passing showers, hopefully clearing in about half an hour or so. Obviously the co-op didn't get that line finished before the rain came. They still had issues with the spreader with the broken chain, so fingers crossed they've managed to get that repaired, or using this sort of stoppage for weather as a chance to get that all fixed as well. And once it's stopped raining, they can get back up spreading. So let's head on back down to the yard. We're going to, we might actually pull the combine into the workshop for a little bit, spend a little bit of time getting that sorted out, winterized, to make sure it's all happy and good to go for next season, because, well, if we can't borrow any more money against the farm, we're not really going to be in the position to buy a new combine anytime soon, unless, like I said, unless we come up with some other revenue sources somewhere. So anyhow, we'll wait and see. Now, just as I go around the corner, thank you for the advice about turning on a right hand even on a red. Thank you, Heavy Metal Gaming, for that. I was driving to New Zealand conditions, not to American conditions, so look at that, you live and you learn. Anyhow, we'll catch you back down at the yard. Well, I suppose it would be a good idea to give this a bit of a clean off before we get it all put away, backed into the shed. I think I'm going to be able to fit the combine in, just not the header, and be able to give it a little bit of a once over, make sure everything's good and working. But I hadn't actually noticed this before. Got a little hose down here, so be able to grab that, just pick that up, there we go, and go and give the combine a little bit of a hose off. Hopefully it'll come off alright with the rain. It's probably going to help make everything a little bit looser and everything like that. So we're just going to race around and do this. Give it as good a clean off as we can, try and get all the spots, and then we'll give the header a once over as well, and then we'll get back into the shed and go over everything, make sure everything's looking good, figure out if we need to order any parts or anything like that, and if there's going to be any maintenance we need to do on it over winter, because like I say, I think we're going to be stuck with this for the foreseeable future anyhow. Not that I'm disappointed about that, it did a pretty good job, but it would be nice to try and find a way we can upgrade equipment. I'm looking over there and I can see the shed in the background too. Doesn't look like we're going to be getting a roof on that anytime soon. Anyhow, maybe I need to start up and give a little, would you donate? GoFundMe? GoFundMe for the farm. Who knows? Probably not. It's probably not the right thing to do, but anyhow, that's looking much better, isn't it? Right. We'll give it that a, just turn that off, there we go, and got a few other things to clean off too. We've got the header and the plough and everything like that, but let's get this backed in and we'll have a little bit of a tinker with it while this rain's still around. That actually fits in alright, I think. The header just there forward of the shed, but just enough height to get the hopper in, even with those wooden extensions on the top. So there we go. Right, I'm going to spend a bit of time, let's go grab some tools, get some panels off and go and give it a bit of a once over. Well, we've made a bit of progress, but as you can see, the rain has stopped. It stopped about 10 minutes ago, 15 minutes ago, and we've got the sun back out. So I think it hasn't rained that much. I was just looking around. We haven't got any puddles or anything on the yard. It was just more of a sort of hour and a half long sort of light drizzle shower. Too much for them to be spreading the lime, because obviously you don't want the lime getting wet until it's on the ground at least, but probably not too wet for us to get down there and carry on with the cultivating. So we will jump into the Ford and head on down and see if they're back up and running. In fact, I'll give them a call and make sure they are working again, that they've got the spreader going, and then we'll pop on down there. But we managed to get the filters off, get into the air cleaner, and a few of those things done, get them blown out and cleaned up. So everything's looking reasonably good. There's a few parts that I've identified that we might see about ordering and getting replaced, but like I said when we were looking at the plough and the tractor, I'm not the most mechanically minded person, so might even be worth getting someone to come in and have a little bit of a once over on it. But we'll see, we'll figure that one out. That mechanic who came and fixed things up here on the tractor, or with the plough I should say, he was pretty good value, so maybe we'll get them out again. Anyhow, let's jump up in the old girl and we'll head on down to the field. And just as we're driving down here, I did just want to say thank you to everyone who gave me some suggestions and advice on leasing fields. It was a pretty overwhelming response on the survey. I'm just going to double check there's no traffic coming. There's a car there. Wait for that. That looks clear now. Yeah, we're good to go. Yeah, huge response, so thank you everyone for your advice. It was sort of overwhelmingly in favour of doing something with leasing, but pretty even split on whether just to go full on, don't care about anything else, or whether to take a little bit of a step back and run the numbers and make sure it's worthwhile doing rather than just jumping in the deep end. So we're going to take a little bit more time and give that some more consideration, but I do like the idea of doing it, so we'll just wait and see. I will try and run the numbers and figure out if it's affordable. But of course, being November, as much as it'd be nice to tidy up and have a lease sorted out for next year, we're not going to be planting anything until March, April, so we've got a couple of months to figure some things out there anyhow. So that's where we're sitting at with that leasing idea. It's not dead in the water, but it's certainly something we're going to give a little bit more consideration, but we'll go a little bit carefully with it. Anyhow, let's carry on up this way. Can't actually see that wing mirror very well where I'm sitting here, but we will get on up, and easily enough to turn in from this direction and get started on some cultivating up here. I did bring the co-op and they were back up and working, so no issues and nothing to wait for there. And there you go, as I said, they're all up and going. So they've only got this little bit of the field left to do, which is pretty good. It's just having a chat to the truck driver. He's just about to head off. He's empty, so we've put on another full tender load. So that's 2 tenders that have gone onto our fields. We've got the one field left just up the road, so he's going to head on down into town, get topped up, and then meet the spreader back down there. He's going to have enough to finish this off, which is good. And where we're walking right now, that's obviously already had some lime on it. You can see it there on the ground. And our little information meter there down the bottom is telling us that our pH value is perfect. So that's pretty good. I'm impressed with that. So we'll leave them working on this side of the field. We're going to head over and start on the other end and work our way back down this way. So just having a look at the shape of the field, I reckon if we start somewhere around here, sort of head across diagonally, we could actually break this down into some longer runs, which will hopefully mean we can get through it just that little bit faster. So I think if we sort of start off about here, we're going to have some bits in here. Obviously, again, it's a very irregular shaped field, so it's never ever going to work out perfectly. But I think if we come in here somewhere like this, it's going to work out pretty well. Now, I don't know if you noticed in the last episode, but I've had to manually shift gears to get this up to speed. So there we go, we go into third, and then if we pop up into fourth, it will actually run along there at close to 11 miles per hour. So that is what we've had to do to actually get it up to speed. It's more of an issue with the gearbox and the ratios there, and it not shifting on its own to get into it. We lost power on a few hills last time, which wasn't ideal, but at least we're carrying on and able to go at a faster speed through the majority of the fields. So once again, I think we're just going to carry on and get this done, and we'll catch up with you when we're finished. Well, there we are. That is us done down here in this field, and that went pretty well actually. I'm quite impressed with how we managed to get through that. It's quite a good angle actually to be working on. We got some good long runs and only a couple of little pieces that we had to go around and do, so that was good. I've heard from the co-op they are all finished, so they're going to send through a bit of an invoice for me for the lime for spreading, for the time spent, as well as the cost of the lime. Basically worked out to be 2 full tenders and then about half of the last one, so not too bad. Not too bad at all. Pretty efficient. But yeah, they did a good job. Definitely be trying to get them to do some more work for us over the next wee while. Definitely worth leveraging off the materials and equipment they have access to. So we'll keep an eye out for that. Anyhow, we are going to head on down. We've got one more field to get done. The light at the moment is amazing. I think after that rain, there's a bit of haze in the air and everything like that. It's just a beautiful day to be out doing some work. So let's carry on. We'll get down to the field and get this all finished off. Alright, well here we are, just rolling into the field, and as you can see, another good application of lime put on this one. Now, I'm just trying to figure out what might be the best way to tackle this field. This one might be a little bit different, and we might have to do that little finger we created up there on its own. But then I think if we go diagonally up into the bowl up there in the end, it might actually work out pretty well to get some good decent runs in this field. So, in fact, if we pick the right angle, probably even do better. I think we might go back here and head off pretty much on this angle. So we'll see how this goes. Similar size field now. In fact, I think this one's probably a little bit bigger than the one we were just in, but probably a little bit better length, but more open. So let's just get into it, carry on through here and get this field finished, and it'll be good to have everything pretty much ready to be seeded into when we get to spring. Well, it's taken us a wee while, but there we are, job done. All the fields now have had their lime applied and it has been worked down into the soil, ready to sit there over winter, do its thing, balance out the pH in the soil to hopefully help boost our yields come spring and, of course, more importantly, autumn, when the crops are harvested. But, like I said, done. 4:20, so not even too late. Still a bit of sun in the sky, which is good. And we'll head on back up to the yard, go get this parked up, and put away for the night. Well, there you are, that's us back here. We've got the tractor put away, that door put down on the shed. Obviously can't close the other one because the combine's still in there, but we've got the plough or the cultivator disconnected back there under the tree. But I had a rather interesting phone call just as we were driving up then. The hog farmer, the field we were looking at, back over in the direction where the sun's setting, he rang me to say the field's not available anymore. Not long after we'd been up to have a look at it, there was someone else came and offered to pay him twice what he'd asked us to pay. And, well, I mean, don't blame him. I wouldn't turn down an offer like that. But why would someone come in and want to offer double what we were trying to pay? It just seems all a little bit strange. So I don't know what to make of that. Kind of, you know, getting told earlier on that we can't borrow any money and now finding someone's wanting to pay double for a land lease. Doesn't seem right. Anyhow, I'm not going to let that bother me for now. It's still a nice night. There's still a little bit of sunlight left. I'm going to go grab a fishing rod. I'm going to head on over to the river and go and throw a line in, take my mind off things, or at least give it a chance to think about what's going on and what we might be doing next, because we're at the end of the season, really, aren't we? We've got all our fields prepped and ready to go. Everything's done there. So we're going to have to make a plan for what we're going to do over winter. Try and see if we can tackle some of these projects that we had lined up, like the bins, or at least try and figure out what we're going to do if we can't get a loan to pay for them. So yeah, some things to think about. I'm going to go fishing though. I'm going to take the camera, and if we have any luck, we'll have a little video for you next time. But for today, that's all from me. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. As always, thank you all very, very much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.